Hello, people. I'm live. Okay, I'm on the air. Breaking point. We have reached it. We've reached a lot of points here today. I want to go over a bunch of stuff going on. So first of all, this, Freely is involved in this, in the first story. And the picture sums it up, and so does this here. This just happened a few minutes ago on CNN. It's been building all day, just more stuff as I sit at the computer. But we'll get to that later. It's this first story that got me thinking, I gotta just film this. I just have to get this out. So here we go. Daphne, reloaded, crazy bitch. Okay, so Daphne's first. She made a video today, and I don't know her that well. I didn't yesterday. But this video, it really sums things up about this person. As a YouTuber, as someone who watches YouTube, you should be wondering who you should be putting your time into, what you should be watching, what you should not be. It's just going to take a few seconds to find it. Oh. I keep running into dead ends, man. I have to go to her channel now. Okay. She's the next Frank Tufano, I think. Yeah, here's the video, and it's like they're all doing this. Did any of you see this, or do any of you watch her? Here we go.
Freely tells us that if we don't eat like her and go vegan, that we will get diabetes. Then she goes off and chugs 2 liters of orange juice. And then an hour later, she chugs a liter of mint chocolate chip smoothie. No, Freely, you're going to get diabetes.
Oh my God. It took me a minute of watching this. I could only make it a minute through this before I picked up the vibe. And now, just hearing the first 2 sentences is making me really cringe. That's sick. So, that's why I'm asking. Do any of you out there actually watch?
Liters of orange juice. And then an hour later, she chugs a liter of...
Okay, this is crazy. This bitch she's slightly popular. I don't know how to word this, man. Well, these people are a bunch of BS. You don't get diabetes. Last night, I used to like PBS. They put out good content. And they put on a special with Dr. Axe, pushing the keto diet, lying about carbohydrates. And all these people are getting attention and they're making money. And if I feel like I got no enthusiasm for what I'm doing here, it's because I got one fucking viewer. While these crazy bitches get the attention. I get vegetable police telling me to stop making videos because no one wants me here. And I have to question this all the time myself. Stupid society. I've busted my ass for years. I've messed up my health. I spent my 40s on this. My 40s are gone. Daphne, not only is she so much bullshit, like the rest of them, but she's super immature. And she's not just immature. It's a mixture of being immature and putting on an act. You can hear it in her voice. With his bald head and his fat neck, and he's telling me, "Well, you come to my channel with your being an expert at this, knowing more about how to get viewers, because I could never get viewers. I learned how, and I still cannot figure it out."
Supporters as the police and the military as monolithic groups. Front now, Steve Cortez. He's on President Trump's 2020 re-elect advisory.
Okay, this is what happened, the latest thing that happened. A year ago, I predicted that things are actually going to get worse. Whatever it is you're thinking, that will get worse, and it has, hasn't it? I continue to sit here on my channel making predictions that come true. The people who have watched my channel, they've benefited. Oh. By getting good information that you can use. as bad as people, as bad as it was yesterday. As bad as it was last year. I'm losing my mind. A lot of people were probably thinking this is as bad as it could possibly get. But I said it is going to get worse. And it's going to get even worse than this. What am I doing here? I'm kind of spoiling, what's it called? But I don't care because the truth's the truth. But this is a new low here. And it will get worse, people. Until you take action. People are the problem. And so therefore people are the solution. The latest thing was that Trump, with another one of those off-the-hand comments, vague stuff. We know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. Trump said something about with his police, military, and I don't know, didn't catch that part. Things could get tough on his opponents, and those are the people, those are the Democrats running for president, which I happened to be talking about yesterday in my live video. It would be very bad. What is it and what is bad? Police? His opponents? This is what happens in Africa. In places like North Korea, China. That's what it sounds like. And I also talked about yesterday how you can often tell if someone is on the good side or bad side by the way they look. Can you spot the bad one here? There's one bad one here. You can spot him. And look at this face. I got to zoom in on this. The camera needs to be closer. Well, yeah, I can get this. Yeah, just for a second here. Okay. Look at that guy's face. That looks like the face of somebody who's trying to cover up the evil that's underneath with a weird smile. And what he said here in this interview was the craziest thing I've heard yet from a Trump apologist. if this was like a year or two ago, I'd be saying, holy crap. I'd be really stunned and in disbelief. And 3 or 4 years ago, we would never see something like this. And then there's Tucker Carlson, you know. It's like they now realize they can say anything they want. And this is substantial. This is really bad for the world. What's going on here? You've got bullshit everywhere. And this does matter. This is going to affect our world.
Then why are you talking about things getting very bad when you're talking about your supporters as the
is not in fact what he is implying here, Aaron.
All right, Abby, thank you very much, and a really good point, right? If violence isn't what you're trying to talk about, then why are you talking about things getting very bad when you're talking about your supporters as the police and the military as monolithic groups? Out front now, Steve Cortez. He's on President Trump's 2020 Re-elect Advisory Council, and Keith Boykin, former Clinton White House aide. Keith, when you hear the president say things could get very bad, if police and military, the military get tough, what do you think he's saying?
I think he's clearly threatening violence, hinting at the possibility of violence. It's a part of a pattern that we've seen from Donald Trump going back to the presidential campaign, when he would consistently talk about he wanted to punch people in the face, tell people to knock the crap out of protesters. He offered to pay the legal bills for people who roughed up protesters. He just consistently behaved in a way that was detrimental to creating a collegial atmosphere in a presidential race, and he doesn't show any sense of he's learned anything since he's become president.
Steve?
You know, look, I think it's important here to be very precise.
Yeah. You notice, if you pay enough attention, you notice Trump doesn't learn and adjust. And I was talking about that. I think it was yesterday. He's emotionally stunted. He's stunted at around age 10 or 11. And more than that, and he hasn't grown since he was 11. And so that's why he doesn't evolve, he doesn't change anything he does. He's just going to get worse. So worse that we might be in for some serious shit in the United States. You know what's going on in Venezuela? Those kind of things don't just happen to other people, other people. It'll eventually happen here. It's just a matter of time. You know, it didn't happen in Venezuela for thousands of years until it did.
He did not in any way infer or say that he was going to use the military.
Exactly. He didn't say it.
Or the police in any way. What he's saying is, among those groups, he has enormous support, and that's very clearly true. And he's saying that those groups can defensively act with force if they have to, because there is no doubt that violence from the left is already
talking about having the military in a violent confrontation with the left in this country?
No, I just said the opposite. I'm saying supporters of his who. No. This is exactly what I'm saying, Aaron. He's not saying the military or the police are going to take action. He is saying that among those groups, he has enormous support. Many.
You did say that, but then you continued to say they could fight in defense.
And I'm saying as individuals, and as individuals, not as a military force, not as police forces, as individuals, if they need to, they will defend themselves, because we've seen a marked rise in serious violence from the left, from Antifa and from other groups. Look, they are you can't blow this off. They are
much bigger rise on the right. The only reason why you see more violence. I haven't actually seen violence. I've seen people pissed off on the left. Like me. And it's because of his bullshit. These people, they're evil. They're the ones committing violence. They've killed people. See my video, car crashes into protesters, killing one woman in her 20s. And destroying the lives of a couple dozen other people. They did this. These people, the Trump supporters, the conservative Republicans, they're the violent ones. And we've seen this. And in case you haven't seen this, it's just worth seeing.
Shooting congressmen,
it's coming up.
Punching student activists in the face. They are rousting
have not heard of the
on campuses across.
Your people have killed people. And there's Cuba. They killed a bunch of people in Cuba.
This country, and what he's saying is his supporters are tired of being pushed around. It's never okay to instigate.
And a whole bunch of violence. And we're about to see what is instigating all this violence from Republicans and Trump supporters. We're going to see that. And this is something you should see.
Violence, but it is very okay to defend yourself, and he's saying that if that's necessary, if the left continues the prevalence of violence,
This is outrageous.
This is outrageous. I would think he has bodyguards. Well, there are a lot of Trump people going to prison, going to court. And that's going to keep happening. It's just not quick enough to get people like these locked up. These people, it's amazing that these people are allowed on TV. They can go on TV, they can go on YouTube and say these lies that are ruining our society and hurting people. I've been here 50 years, and it wasn't like this before. Something different's happening. The world is falling apart. I feel sorry for people who are still young. At least I was fortunate enough to live through the 80s, 90s, even 70s. They're really good compared with this.
Supporters will be forced to defend themselves.
Steve, we've never had a president like this before who's not only encouraged violence in his campaign while a black woman in Louisville was pushed around, or a black man in Fayetteville was punched in the face. We saw that during the actual presidency of this guy. He went to Montana and he praised Greg Gianforte, a congressman, for body slamming a reporter. We have people...
Did you catch that, people? You really should have been watching the news that couple days. This actually happened in the United States. A Republican was elected by rotten Republicans, conservatives. They elected him the very day after. This is real. The very day after he threw someone to the ground. He tossed someone onto the floor right there in his own office. The next day he was reelected. A Republican, yeah. Goes without saying. If this guy's saying the opposite, remember that word. It's coming up in a few weeks. You can hear more about that word.
Who are sending bombs to this office at CNN where I sit today, people who have been engaging in violent activity. The President of the United States has encouraged this type of behavior, or at least hinted that he doesn't disapprove of it.
Look at this reaction. Jesus, we're about to see the proof in video.
When Charlottesville happened, when violence...
The guy just said he did not.
Let me just play what he said.
Well, given my experience working for Mr. Trump, I fear that if he loses the election in 2020, that there will never be a peaceful transition of power. And this is why I agreed to appear before you today.
There are people who have that fear. A lot of people. There's people on the left, there's people on the right. When the president says, I have the support of the police and the military, and if the other side plays it tough, it'll get to a certain point, and then it would be very bad, very bad. Isn't that the specter that a lot of people hear, Steve?
Here it is.
Play it.
Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees. I promise. I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick... Nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment, people, maybe there is. By the way, and if she gets to pick... If she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment, people, maybe there is. I don't know.
Yeah, this guy has a history of playing loose with his words, intentionally designed to stir up the fan.
I said 2.5 years ago, mid-2016, Donald Trump is a violent psychopath. That's who he really is. You can see that's not acting. That's who he is. And much more than that. There's so much more. And then back to YouTube, there's just so much more. It's actually too much. And I'm just... What am I doing here? I'm hurting my health here for 4 people. It's just not worth it. So instead of people like me to hear, you'll have, in the future, everything's going to get just worse. And this will become, this right here is going to become the new normal for what people have to listen to.
Anything else she says or does after this point cannot be trusted and should be seen for what it is. The backward vegan propaganda garbage. Here is another taste of the same backward logic that comes from the gray slop she calls a fucking brain. By Freely's logic, if someone eats just 1 egg, they were never vegan. But she can run her life and her channel on slaughterhouse money for probably almost a decade now, and she considers herself totally vegan. Well, newsflash. If you don't find a vegan way to earn all of your money, you were never vegan. But content creators can't control the ads that get put on their videos. Freely chooses to have ads at all, knowing that they aren't vegan. We also can't choose what nutritional needs we have, and she denies those without a second fucking thought. These ads are no different. Do you see any ads from YouTube on my videos? No. because it's a fucking choice. And for 10 years, when I was vegan, I found vegan ways to earn money, or I went without. And I think Freely should do the same. I have no ads, and in order to get ads, you have to prove to YouTube that you want them very badly. And you have to beg for them. Freely has had to beg to have ads. The ads that kill animals. The animals that she says she loves.